highlighting what you know in yellow. Look at your list. Raise your hand if more than half of the available words were highlighted in yellow. Hands up high, nice and proud. Awesome. How about maybe 1/3 hands up? Obviously, if your hand was up, it could still be up. So we're growing in numbers. At least 1/3, you know. Okay, maybe 1/10. How many want to put their hand up and say, help? Okay, good. But here's the deal. Look at me right now. This is the defining moment, okay? This lesson, which will last an hour, is going to blow your mind. Boom, on here, okay? Because I'm going to give you a ton of terms, academic terms. They're called literary devices and they're called parts of speech. You're not going to know all of them by the end of an hour. Why? Because this is going to give you a nice overview of what your year holds in modules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So by May, all of that will be yellow. Agreed? You're not going to go crazy and think, I don't get it. However, if you do have questions as we go along, this sheet has plenty of white space. That's where you can write questions down, because when I talk to you on the phone for our DBA or when we talk, let me know. You will be able to ask me, hey, I had a question about illusion. Can you tell me that, what that means? Because I keep thinking of illusion with an I instead of illusion with an A. What's going on? Put a note here, and we'll be, or just a question mark, or obviously later on when you get the colors, we're going to know. You can take notes on here. Okay, deal? Deal? You can take notes. I'll have this at the end. It'll be our exit slip. Okay, so we did number 2. Number 3, we're not going to do now, but I want by a show of hands, and we can do it later. How many have done a Mad Libs where you use parts of speech to put in words? Okay, at each table we have representation of someone who knows what to do. So when we have break, I will hand this out. You can have any story you like, and it's fun. You work in pairs, and you ask someone for an adjective, and you put it in, and by the end, or noun, or whatever part of speech you ask for, and by the end, you're telling the funkiest story ever. Okay? All right, so deal. Each person at a group knows about it. You're responsible for sharing how to do a Mad Libs. I did it for fun and extra time if we had it. Okay, but you'll have a copy of this. All right, moving on. Okay, so how are words powerful? Don't say anything, just think. How are words powerful? In what ways can words empower? Notice how we use that power, we made them empower us and others. Food for thought. Think about it. And hold that thought. We have to first know what words means and what powerful means. Okay, simple enough. We know this. We're in middle school. We've come to understand what the word means and what the word power means. But look at all the definitions for word if you look it up in the dictionary. If you were to look it up in the dictionary, which you won't, but if you were, I did it for you, you'd find lots of nouns. Maybe this one in yellow is the one we're thinking of when we think of the word in the context of what we're saying. And it can be also, go down to here. Well, these are all nouns still. What if we thought that the noun word in our context meant a unit of data in a computer? Is that the one we're looking for? How many think that it is? Hands up. Got it right. A verb, you can use word as a verb. He words his request. I know I have a pointer. Is this it? Can I point? There is a laser wheel. Woohoo! Talk about power. He words his request. Is that what we want to think of? And words are powerful? No, we're using a noun. You don't know what a noun is? Put a little question mark beside noun. We'll go back to it when I talk to you individually. And an interjection like wow and hallelujah. That J is one dangerous character. Word. I've never used that. I didn't know that one. Has anyone heard that before? You have? Word.
used to talk like that.
Who does?
Me
Oh, really?
and my mom. I heard
Okay.
our old TV show. We
All
call
right.
it our Dingo slang.
And it's still alive and well. Look at that. You made it to the dictionary family. All right, the word
Yeah.
power. A noun. Perhaps we're talking about, oh, I love this thing. which is a noun. So we had statement of influence. That sounds pretty accurate, doesn't it? But what if we use the word instead as a verb, and it means to travel? They powered past. Ooh la la. A verb, using that word power. We're not using that one though, because if we did, we'd have computer units are traveling.
It's Confucius.
Instead, statements are full of influence. Right? We had to use our brains. We had to think, what's the power of words? Well, we have to interpret them, don't we? Okay? So we're not going to be confused. We're not going to be confused. We're just going to know that there's a lot to know about words. We're going to explore the big word of words together. All right, that's an amazing sound. It's a pow sound or a bang or a bam, however you want to interpret it. But it is, don't say anything, just think it. It is a literary device. I want you to look at your paper and don't say anything. But I want you to look at literary devices, the second set, yeah? Literary devices. What might that be? And if you think you know, raise your hand. A literary device where you hear a boom, a bang, a pop. Keep raising those hands if you think you know it. Keep your hand up if you think you can say it. Riley, your hand was the first one up. What do you think, sir?
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia. Excellent. We're putting a little check mark beside your name. I want to make sure everybody has a chance to answer, okay? But every time we come to a boom, that sound, an onomatopoeia, I want you to start putting your hand up as soon as you know. Even if I'm talking, you're just going to raise your hand. Along the way, you hear a boom on that slide and only that slide. You look to your list and see what literary device you know. Guess what? You might not know it. Again, we're just exploring. All right, my friend, you get a check mark. Thank you, sir. Any questions before we go on? You know what to do when you hear the boom? You don't say anything out loud, right? You just raise your hand, and it's okay. If I'm talking, I'll just see that your hand is up. You're getting it. Okay, so I'm talking, you're thinking, we just heard a boom. We have the power to change the world with our words. And we are going to marvel at middle school marvels, mastering the manipulation of messages. Thought, Josh, alliteration. We could go there into a deep level. So I want you to know that there was truth in that. But first and foremost, when we hear that M sound, that repetition of an initial letter, we have what's called, look at your list, it starts with an A, everyone's going to say it, A-L, here we go, alliteration. Okay, alliteration. So, words are read all the time, spoken, written. You'll be doing that in Module 2, lots of writing. I'm your way, aren't I? I apologize for this. We have, I'm going to turn one light off actually. Let's see if this, do you like that better or worse?
Yeah.
Anyone having trouble with that like that? Cool? Are we cool? All right. You can have concrete words. Chair, cat, car, water. Okay, these are nouns, right? Look at this picture for a moment. See if it brings you back. Maybe you know nothing about this. This is what we call an allusion. Okay, we're going back to another source, an earlier source for some. Raise your hand if you know this. Okay, and Jordan, I saw your hand first. Help us out. And why this means concrete. Why is this a good slide that tells us about concrete words?
Can you rephrase the question?
You know what? I gave you too many questions. Tell me what this means to you. How's that?
Well, the girl in that photo is Helen Keller.
Okay.
She's blind and deaf.
Blind and deaf.
And she has her teacher, mentor there, teaching her.
Okay, and what is significant about this word? And if you don't know, I'll ask somebody else. So do you want to answer that? She's feeling it. She's actually in a concrete way experiencing it. Raina?
Well, I forget. I know Helen Keller's name, but I forget her teacher's name.
And Sullivan.